Retro Ghetto.
Ready?
All right, it is Nottingham Game Market Day. We've had some refreshments at Costa. I'm here with James. Connor's somewhere as well. James, actually, I've got something for you, mate.
Oh, brilliant.
If you saw last week's vlog, you'll know what I've got for James. So right, let's go and do some deals. Let's do some car park deals. It's not going to be car park Kuon though, is it?
It's not £600, is
The
it?
famous car park Kuon. Here's big man Connor. He's got his calves out. There you go, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Just a small one to start the day. Feels like
For my Kiosk.
feels like a man of the match award.
It is. The TV.
And the remote.
Oh, lovely.
You got your car?
Yeah.
I'll carry it to your car. I'll take the remote. You take the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the car park deals aren't done yet. Look at this sealed copy of Deadpool. Sadly, this is not for me. This is for you guys watching at home. Okay, welcome officially to this week's Ghetto vlog. Now, there's loads of great footage coming up from the Nottingham Game Fair, and I'm just going to intersperse it with a lot of, some really nice pickups that I got on the day. And you've just seen this copy of Deadpool. Now, what better place to start than this? So there's a bit of a backstory to this one. So this is sealed, if I can get it out of the box protector that it's in. A sealed copy on the Xbox One. And this is a really interesting game. 2015 release, action-adventure game as you might expect. And, you know, it's typical sort of Deadpool fun. A lot of that kind of third wall breaking stuff. And, this is a game which skyrocketed in price about a year or so ago now. So, really nice to have a sealed copy. But, as I've just said on the footage, this isn't for me. This is going to be a giveaway for one of you guys. So, quickly, this was given away as a raffle on the Ghetto Gang Discord. It was just one of them things where you pay a couple of quid, you enter the raffle, and it was won by Dan. All the proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Research UK, which is the official Ghetto Gang and Retro Ghetto charity of choice. It wasn't long ago, I think I was telling you guys that we were sort of on the way to $3,000. Well, now we're on the way to £4,000, which is just... yeah, I love it. It's probably the proudest achievement for me of everything we've done here at Retro Ghetto. A charity that means so much to me, to be almost £4,000. And I want to give a massive shout out to the Ghetto Gang that have been instrumental in that in recent weeks and months, with all the sort of raffles and fantastic stuff with that going on over there. So yeah, awesome. If you did want to make a one-off donation, there will be a link to the Just Giving page below. And that is quite poignant because, as I say, this was won by Dan. He won this from Connor, so shout out to Dan. He said, look, just continue the raffle going and try and make more money for this fantastic charity. So that's what we do. Connor's passed this on to me, and I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to own this. So there's going to be a link below, as I say, to the Alzheimer's Research UK Just Giving page. For every £5 you donate, I'm going to chuck an entry into the raffle for this one. We'll get it drawn, and I'll pass this on to the winners. Put the donation, just simply put Deadpool somewhere in it, just so that I know that that's what you're donating towards. And as I say, every multiple of 5 will get an entry for this. So massive shout out once again to everybody. Get involved for what is an amazing cause. And then you saw me talking to James, and James being James, man, like, I just wanted to give him something back. I wanted to give him that TV just as a small thank you for all his generosity and all the fantastic stuff he's always doing for everybody. Not just myself, he's just one of the nicest guys in the community, he really is. But James being James, he wouldn't let me just give him the TV. He surprised me with this. So we sat drinking tea in that morning in Costa, and he said, look, I've got something for you. And it's an amazing gift. Here it is. So this is the Golden Axe 1 and 2 vinyl records. These are by Data East, I believe it's called Data East. These are some really nice vinyl records. I've actually got the Thunder Force 4 I love that soundtrack. I'm such a big fan of this stuff, but vinyl record collecting is so expensive, especially video game vinyl. So yeah, I'm always tentative to dip my toes into it, but this is fantastic. You'll be seeing now like all the sort of amazing art and everything that this comes with. So yeah, very kind of you. Completely unnecessary. I wanted to give you something for once. Next time I give him something, I'm just not going to tell him. I'm just going to surprise him with it so he can't preempt it and get me something in return. But as always, massive shout out to James. But let's get back to the Nottingham Game Fair. Okay, so we are heading into the venue after a tumultuous parking session, parking 3 cars. It is busy, but on the plus note, what that means is the queue has died down. 'Cause the queue was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was like wrapped around this whole building. So yeah, we're about 11:15 now, 15 minutes past early bird.
And to be honest, probably the best time to come in. No queue, everything's chill. Let's go and hunt some games. So we're in, and straight away I'm reminded as to why this was my favourite event last year. It's just a lot more spacious than all the other events, right? So much space, bigger aisles, it's clear. We are only at early bird, so it will get busier, but yeah, man. It's always a nice atmosphere in here, so let's see what we can find. First pick up of the day, Connor.
Just a steelbook.
What'd you get?
Diofield Chronicle. Don't know, it just looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, nice one, mate.
So you just saw Connor there get his first pick up of the day. I know he's on a bit of a steel book kick at the moment, and I grabbed one myself. Just one that you don't very often see. So this is for the Xbox 360, and my Xbox 360 steelbook and sleeve covers and special editions and big box stuff is so vast that even though there's so many in that era of consoles, it's kind of getting fewer and further between that I'm actually finding ones that I don't already own. And thankfully I found one today. This had £12 on it. The seller let me have it 10. And that is Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands. So this one's a 2010 Ubisoft developed action adventure game. Now the only issue I can see with this is that it's missing what should be a bonus DVD. So yeah, I wasn't quite aware of that at the time, but for £10 it's all good. I'm sure I can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, like I say, just not one that you see too often. I have seen this steelbook a few times, but it's usually missing the sleeve cover or slip cover. We still seem to be 50-50 on that one. We did a vote on the Discord. I asked you guys last week. Yeah, it still seems to be very 50-50 whether it's slip or sleeve. But the slip sleeve cover was with this one. So yeah, that was my first pickup of the day, but the first of many.
So every time I come to one of these events, we catch up with Sammy. Now, normally it's Zelda stuff. Actually, there is one Zelda pickup. You can't go anywhere without a Zelda pickup, can you?
No.
But you're the Assassin's Creed. You got me into Assassin's Creed. You're to blame for my 90-hour Assassin's Creed Odyssey marathon.
I can't apologise for that.
So today you bought...
This is Bayek. Bayek.
Bayek, lad.
Bayek. I don't weigh up.
And then yesterday you bought an Assassin's Creed statue. I saw on Instagram.
Yes, I got the Edward Kenway yesterday.
I'm going to put your Instagram details in. So if anybody wants to follow your crazy Assassin's Creed journey.
Fair enough. And Yoshi.
A Yoshi.
Yeah. There's a story about that.
There is a story. That's for another day.
It is. But I'm happy and I need to go back to the car. I'm shaking.
This is why you don't buy big purchases early on.
I know.
Right, we'll see you. I'll see you on your second lap.
Yeah.
With more wares.
Always enjoy catching up with Sammy. Her sort of passion for all things Assassin's Creed is, yeah, very infectious. And her partner Joel, who I spent some time chatting with over at the Vintage Gamer booth, he's very much, I think, going for the full Dreamcast set. So I had a good chat with him about some of the Dreamcast games he was looking at. But speaking of Vintage Gamer, that's where I got my next pickups from. And I actually bought a couple of Nintendo Wii games. Wii is one of them systems. It's a bit like PlayStation 2. Whenever I think I've got everything I want for it, I'm done with it. Something else in the vast library catches my eye and I end up adding to that library. But yeah, the first game that I picked up was Mario Party 8. So this one is the 2007 release, and it's the first of 2 Mario Party games that came out for the Wii. The Wii got Mario Party 8, Mario Party 9, and then Mario Party 10 was on the Wii U, I believe. So my sort of history with Mario Party games, I've not played a Mario Party game properly since the N64, and I think I've still got the the scars from the blisters on the centre of my hand. If you know, you know, right? Back in the N64 days. Yeah, I remember I was asleep over at my friend's house and we played Mario Party on the N64 all night long. And yeah, I remember having big blisters, but it was just such a good time, right? The old days of sitting around with 4 controllers plugged into the N64. Probably my best N64 memory, to be fair. And one of the reasons that I picked this up is that we were thinking about getting the newer one on the Nintendo Switch for RG Junior. We just thought it'd be nice for sort of like family gaming nights. We've recently started doing like Mario Kart nights, and yeah, I think we're going to dip our toes into Mario Party as well. I just think it's going to be really nice sort of like family bonding time. And yeah, I thought this was a good place to start. Saw this, Nick did me a fantastic price as always. He gave me this and this next game for £15. So yeah, real good price, as I've come to expect from Nick at this point, and fantastic people over at Vintage Gamer. But this next one is one which firmly falls into my category of, if you've never seen a game before and it's cheap, pick it up. Now, this game was only £2. It was pretty much nothing by the time he'd bundled it together with Mario Party. And I thought it was uncommon because I'd never seen it before, and it turns out it was. I think there's only 7 copies of this in stock at CEX, and it's just one that has a great front cover and really, really intrigued me. And that is Real Heroes Firefighter. So this one's a 2012 Epicenter Studios developed first-person shooter, and for me, I just kind of imagine it being like a 3D, more modern version of The Fireman, which is a very expensive Super Nintendo game. I'm sure it's probably not as good as that. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, this was ported to the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch back in 2021. I had no idea of that, but it just looks really interesting, like a first-person shooter where you're putting out fires. This is a very early contender for post-credit gameplay, let me tell you, because I'm just very, very intrigued by this. I love the cover art. The fact it's so cheap, yet seemingly uncommon stroke rare. A couple of the guys on the Vintage Gamer booth were saying they'd never seen a copy of this before. So, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, it's not always the most expensive finds which intrigue you the most, and it's in lovely condition. Barely looks like it's been played, which again might not be the best sign, but very, very happy with my pickups from Vintage Gamer. Let's get back to it.
Oh, wow. So Kojima himself. Oh, mate. So what's that, T-shirt?
T-shirt,
and then all the
dog
stuff.
tags, poster, soundtrack.
Oh,
and
mate.
then, yeah.
This is too much. Too much heat. That is wonderful. I love that. Thanks a lot for letting me see that, mate.
No worries, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, so if you saw my Wednesday video, you know I am very much on a Game Boy hype. And if you haven't seen Wednesday's video, make sure you go back and look at it, because that's not clickbait. That was genuinely the Nintendo find of a lifetime. I'm still excited about that one. But anyway, this store that you've just seen had loads of Game Boy, as well as that amazing signed Hideo Kojima Metal Gear Solid Collector's Edition. Now, sadly, I didn't buy that. I think he said it was either £800 or £900, which is probably a good price. It's not something you're ever going to see again, is it? But yeah, just a little bit too pricey for me on the day. But like I say, he had loads of Game Boy. I went through it all, and there's just one game that really caught my eye. Again, I'm not a Game Boy aficionado. There's loads in that library that I don't know about, and it kind of crosses over with NES, which was the console at the time, and with me not being an NES collector, there's so many games that I've never explored that I'm hoping to do so via the Game Boy. Now, this is one that caught my eye for a couple of reasons. Again, never seen it before. 2, it's a pink box. 3, it looked like it could be a shmup. Certainly from the sort of like screenshots on the back of the box, but that is Go-Go Tank. Now, it turns out it's not a shmup. It's actually an action strategy game. It just sounds really interesting. From the looks of it, the tank continually moves, so it's auto-moving, and then you control like planes and helicopters and stuff, and you have to manipulate the environments and move puzzles and stuff like that to get the tank from one side of the screen to the other, or on the top of the hill, I think is how it reads. Maybe. I think that's loosely what I've gained from it. So it's like a puzzler with shmup elements, kind of. I don't know. But it looks interesting, and it's a nice cardboard. It's a pink box. And yeah, like I say, I'm all about Game Boy life right now, so I was really happy to pick that one up.
Hello.
Hey!
Are you okay?
Yeah, man. You?
What have you been buying?
Do you know what? I've only got one Super Nintendo game.
Well, that's one more. Actually, no, I have got one.
Have you?
Yeah, I was about to say one more than me. I've literally just bought one, so I have got one. Yeah.
But
I'm not going to ask you what. We see. Go to Gemma's channel. Go and check it out. Gemma's channel.
Yes, top secret stuff. But I have got a Game Boy made
Yeah.
out of wood. It's about this big. It's a cupboard. And you open it, you store games in it.
You bought a Game Boy cupboard.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh yeah.
Where? I didn't even see it. How did I miss a Game Boy cupboard?
I gripped it about 10 minutes after I walked in.
Do you know what? When I went to your house and your games rooms, I thought to myself, you've got so much space for big things like cupboards.
Yeah.
You've got loads of room. Loads of room.
Always great to catch up with Gemma at these events, and as you heard me say to her, I did pick up a Super Nintendo game. I mean, it always makes a good day a great day for me. But before we get into that, there's a couple of other bits that I want to show. So I bumped into Ghetto gang member Missy and her partner, and always amazing to catch up with those guys. And this is something that we'd actually discussed on the Discord. This is something that I mentioned on a vlog way back that I was after. And Missy messaged me and said, look, we got one really cheap on like one of these AliExpress sites or something. Our son doesn't use it, happy to pass it on, and that is one of these. So this is like a Galaxy light. These things are so cool. I'll throw some overlay up now. It's difficult to capture it, I think, on footage. I put this in RG Junior's room. He used this for a couple of nights. It just basically creates this real nice vibe, like Galaxy vibe with stars and stuff. And yeah, very, very cool to have in a games room. So shout out to Missy for that. And Missy being Missy, she like baked brownies for everybody. So she was handing out brownies and goodies to all Ghetto gang members that were there. And you know, it's always about the community when it comes to these events. And yeah, really fun day meeting everybody. She also threw in a load of chocolate and stuff that I've still got to divvy up between the kids and Mrs. RG, apparently. I do my best to not just put it into my chocolate storage box in here. No, I'm on a wedding diet, so yeah, I'm going to be passing that stuff on. But I did eat my brownies on the way home, and shout out to Missy. Yeah, they were very nice. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, I alluded to the fact that the final store of the day is sort of like where I spent all my money. I thought I was done, and then, you know, as so often happens, on the way out, took one second look at a stall, and he had some really nice cardboard. So before we get to the Super Nintendo, I want to show this. And this is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. So this one's a 2004 fighter, and I think they play a bit like an arena fighter from memory. The Dragon Ball Z games, they don't tend to be sort of like two characters stood on the ground. There tends to be a lot of flying and a lot of going on. A lot of stuff that I'd probably struggle with my old man eyes. But yeah, really fun sort of series to collect for. But as you can see, this isn't just Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. This is the collector's edition. Quite a rare piece of cardboard. I love collecting PlayStation 2 cardboard, and this is just one that you don't see. So much so that I couldn't find a copy of this for sale or sold on eBay. There is actually a Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I don't know. There's so many words and titles and so much. Just such a convoluted series on the PlayStation 2. But there is a Tenkaichi 3, I believe. Collector's edition on eBay. It's like £143. Really nice artwork. But yeah, really happy to have this. Love how it's matte with that gloss finish alongside it. And coincidentally, I actually needed Budokai 3. So my PS2 Dragon Ball collection, I've got Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Budokai Tenkaichi, Budokai 2. So it's nice that now I have Budokai 3 alongside it. Budokai 3 in itself is actually like an £18 game at CEX. And what I really like about this is that it's not just a standard copy of the game in the cardboard slip sleeve. It's actually a collector's edition game as well. So yeah, very happy to add that. And the seller did me a good price. Neither of these games are cheap. But yeah, he did me a good deal on this and the Super Nintendo that you're about to see. So, like I just said, a good day gets made a great day by adding a Super Nintendo to the game, to the collection that I need. So this takes me to 208 Super Nintendo games that I still need, I believe. And this is one that I recently saw on Gemma's room tour. This is uncommon. It's certainly not one you see often, but you do see it out and about. It's just never been the right time for me to pull the trigger until today. And that is the Blues Brothers. So this one's a 1992 platformer developed by Titus France, and it's based on a 1980 movie starring Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. I've never actually seen the movie, but if I read the back of the box, backed by popular demand, the Blues Brothers are here to play all the brews. Cruise along with Jake and Elwood, those all-time rhythm and blues stars, in this exciting platform game, an explosive mix of adventure, comedy, and great music. On the way to their first concert, they get trapped by an evil jukebox, and you have to fly across the countryside, survive electrical chaos, escape from spooky sewers and defeat deadly enemies, reach Chicago in time to prepare for the greatest concert in history. And what I really like about this is it's two-player action. It even says on the front, two-player action, as you might expect from a Blues Brothers game, and it just looks very much like early 90s standard platform action with all the tropes you get, and I absolutely love that stuff. That's what got me into gaming. That's sort of about my bread and butter growing up, playing platformers. And yeah, just another nice one, and it's purple. It's gonna look really nice on the SNES wall. Nice purple hue to it. And yeah, what can I say about the Nottingham Game Market? I feel like a broken record. I always sit here and say these things, that it's not always about what you come back with and stuff, it's about the people. And again, that is 100% the case today. Always a good time catching up with so many great people. Yeah, that always definitely makes the event. In terms of as an event, now, I said last year, I'm going to repeat it, this is the best venue, bar none, that I'm aware of. By far the biggest, nicest, most spacious venue. It's in like an old sports hall, like a basketball court, so there's like loads of headroom, loads of floor space. It never felt too crowded or cramped, even like at midday when like the sort of like rush came in, the general entry tickets. So yeah, but what I would say is, it could have probably done with a few more stores. I think it would still have had plenty of space if there was a few more. It felt like there was a lack of high-end stuff, And I'm noticing more and more with gaming markets that there's a lot more stores that are like almost like Etsy based stuff, like crochet designs, framed items, you know, things that people are making themselves within the video game genre, which is great to see. A lot of that stuff's really cool, 3D printed stuff, but I don't want to see that at the expense of games. I don't know how this was. I don't know if this was sold out in terms of stores. I think it's great to see that stuff. It definitely has a place at these markets, but I don't want to see it instead of video games. Do you know what I mean? I think we're sort of on that cusp of potentially having too many accessory stores and not enough games. That's sort of how it felt at this market. It would have been nice to have seen a few more game sellers, and nice, of course, to see a few more high-end, sort of more expensive, elusive stuff that you rarely see. But maybe that's just a sign of the times. Maybe it's just less and less of this stuff out there. But as I said before, all in all, fantastic day made by the people, and a great way to start this week's Ghetto vlog, right? So I'm going to get some of this stuff put away. The room's a mess as usual. And I've been very busy on Assassin's Creed Odyssey on this road to the platinum, so let's go and check that out. So as you can see, I've been very busy since last week's vlog and since we last checked in on my Assassin's Creed Odyssey progress. This was the big one. If you look online, Hermes Homie is the one that everyone seems to struggle with. As you can see, by only 5.7% of people getting it. You basically have to unveil every region on the map, which sounds easy, but there's so many tiny little islands. So a lot of trial and error to get that done. Yeah, it's not sort of just a case of looking at the map, seeing one area is like shaded in and going there. It's just not that simple. This one was easy, just took quite a bit of time. And yeah, the rest of it was all good. So I think now there's about 6 left, maybe 7 including the platinum. Most of which will take care of themselves just by finishing the story. I don't want to get into the story until I've done all the sort of other stuff that I can get done. So you see here, there's 2 of these. There's one called Complete Xenia's questline, and there's one called Complete Hippocrates questline. So these are just basically playing through a series of side quests. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to try and do tonight. Get at least one of these done and hopefully add another trophy. There it is. Actually managed to catch the trophy pop for once. It wasn't too bad. A few fetch quests. A few enemies to slay. The usual. Yeah, another step closer. I think I've got one set of like side quests to do, and then we can crack on, get the story finished, and become one of the 4% of platinum owners on this game. So yeah, job well done. Retro Ghetto. Good morning. So the sun woke me up at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock or something this morning. So I took advantage, I did some editing, and I did the remaining quest line on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which means we are now down to just 4 trophies, and they should all pop once I play through the final part of the story. So next time I've got a few hours, I'm going to sit down, we're going to finish the story, and we should see that platinum pop as I finish the mainline story, which is kind of how I wanted to engineer it. So yeah, really happy about that. I'm like 94 hours in, loved it. Of course, I'll give my thoughts in a little bit more depth once we complete that, hopefully on next week's vlog. But we've got a couple of jobs that we need to tend to here in the 3.0. But before that, we've got a very special Ghetto Gang game room tour that's come from the other side of the world. Retro Ghetto.
Hello, my name is Ryan. I'm from Australia, Perth, and this is my game room tour. Let's have a look and see what we can find. Now, as you can see, we've got a giant life-size police box. Yes, it is the TARDIS from Doctor Who. This is a full-size police box which I made, and as you can see, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and this is actually the entryway into my collection room. So let's have a look. So this area here is pretty much the retro gaming section. I was obviously inspired by Retro Ghetto's shelving. So we have a copy of Resident Evil 4 for GameCube. And this section I've decided to make a bit of a blockbuster style video game shop. So you've got sort of your weekly VHS tapes. So we've got some Doctor Who, Flight of the Navigator, The Last Starfighter, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, Rocko's Modern Life, Casper, and The Real Ghostbusters on VHS. Also got the Stay Puft skate deck, which is one of my favorite pieces of art to have on the wall. And of course we have the HasLab Hasbro Proton Pack, and yes, it does work. It's pretty awesome. So looking on this shelf here, we have Super Star Wars for Super Nintendo. We've got Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. We've also got Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3, Alien 3, Tetris and Dr. Mario, and of course, Bubsy for the Super Nintendo. And obviously coming down here, we have a Sony Bravia TV, which is basically really nice for everything that I've got hooked in. If we go from the left here, we've got a Xbox One, Xbox 360. We have a Resident Evil 5 Red Elite Xbox 360 with the controllers I recently picked up. We've got a Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation, Super Nintendo. We've got the PS2 here. We've got some cool ornaments here. Obviously a trusty old VHS player. Come down to the bottom here. This is where I have my Xbox 360 games stacked. I've got some cool games up the back there. Coming down the bottom, we also have some GameCube games. We've obviously got Resident Evil, Italian Job, Star Wars Rogue, Rebel Strike, and Rogue Leader. We've got some more Xbox 360 games as well. Some more up the back here. Xbox games are quite cheap in Australia, so as you can see, it continues across. And yeah, they are a joy to collect. So I've got quite a few here as well. And then up the top here, we've got the PS3, which is obviously looked after by Slimer from Ghostbusters. Coming across, we've got the PlayStation 1 titles. Now these are games that I grew up with, and of course, Silent Hill. Now coming up to the top here, we've got absolute bangers. We've got Silent Hill 2 for PS2, we've got Captain Scarlet, Silent Hill 3, Resident Evil 4, Cold Fear, Star Trek Voyager, Pinball Classics, Ghostbusters the video game, and so forth. Looking down here, we have Myst 3 Exile for PS2, which is in a special cardboard sleeve. This is obviously where I keep all the cables and extra controllers. This section here is a work in progress, but we do have Primal Rage for Super Nintendo, Star Wing, Pilot Wings, The Lawnmower Man, and Spectre, one of my favorite games. We also have Super Mario World and some other cartridges as well, which I need to get some boxes for. Having a look here, this is kind of my workstation where I create games and obviously do my video editing. I've got a pretty powerful PC to do that, and I've also got a Mac Mini to do my video editing. So there you go, that's just a snapshot of my retro gaming section, and it's an absolute joy to come in and play these timeless games, and has been such a big inspiration from Callum, watching his channel for over 2 or 3 years now. So there you go, hope you enjoy. Back to you, Callum, in the 3.0.
Now, it's been said quite a few times that my games room's like a TARDIS, but Ryan's is quite literally inside a TARDIS. What a fantastic room. I mean, I love looking at games rooms wherever they're next door or the other side of the world, but seeing those like Australian variants to PAL games, the slight differences in the game boxes and all that kind of stuff, I love things like that. Massive shout out to Ryan, he's a great guy. He's got a channel. He does a lot of charity shop hunting. I think down there they call it op shops. He finds some great stuff. So yeah, make sure you go and check him out. The link's in the description below, as is the link to the Ghetto Gang if you want to get involved and you want to showcase your games room here on the channel. But it is now time to crack on with my own games room. So last week you will have saw that we put this fantastic TV on the 360 kiosk. ever since then, I've just been walking in and just opening the door, looking at it, and I'm so still taken aback by how much difference just changing the colour of that TV has made. But I did say that there's still a couple more jobs on there that I needed to do, one of which probably 100 of you told me in the comments that I needed to do, so let's get into that first. And 100 of you were quite right to tell me. So basically, there's a HDMI port in this TV. I don't think there was one in the previous TV, hence all of this. So the first job really is to get rid of all this, put a HDMI in and, you know, improve the picture even more so. I'm hoping I can do it without taking the back off. I'm hoping I can just like put the HDMI through there and find a way to pass it upwards and try and get it through that gap. I don't know, man. It might be wishful thinking, but I'm going to have a go because I really haven't got the time right now to start taking all this apart to get it done. So let's give it a shot. Sadly, yet unsurprisingly, that didn't work, so I'm going to have to take one of these back panels off. So yeah, I'm going to have to unscrew this, take this one off, and then run the wire properly through and up, and then yeah, that should be it. Okay, that's all done. It's all been tested, put back together. It works great. Pictures looking better than ever. And there is one more job we need to do with it. Now, I mentioned how I wanted to get these controllers switched over to Y. And I mentioned last week loosely how they're quite difficult to find. I think they're quite big in the PC gaming world because they've got a USB-C connection. I was randomly digging through my retro box of random controllers and junk and cables, and I found this. Now this needs a good clean. Apart from that little bit of damage on that thumbstick, which is easily replaceable, looks to be in good condition. So if I can like get all the dirt off this, give it a thorough clean, test it first of course, then we should be able to put at least one controller in. And that'll give us an idea as to how it's going to look once both are in. And it'll give me that impetus to sort of like get on with it and find another one, because I don't want to be having one white one, one black one for very long. So yeah, that's the plan. Get this cleaned up, get it attached, and then we've done as much as we can do with the kiosk for now at least. Wow, what an epic fail and waste of a good hour of my life that was. So I think in the very last clip you guys would have saw, I said about testing it before cleaning it. Did I do that? No. I filmed myself doing various different things, different camera angles of me cleaning this thing to within an inch of its life, only to then try it, and of course it didn't work, did it? So yeah, complete waste of my time. However, because this is so nice now, so white, so fresh, and seemingly there's not too many of these knocking about, I'm just going to attempt a shell swap. I'm very much at my depth with things like this. I'm not one for small finicky things and little screws and putting things back exactly as they were, but at this point I've come so far, I've wasted so much of my day that I don't really have to waste, that I really want to see a white controller on this kiosk before the sun sets, which is not too far away. So yeah, I'm going to take one of the black ones off, this one I think, and then yeah, attempt to switch them over. Can't be that hard, can it? Can it? Right, so that's off. So all we need to do now is, I think, remove the arm. Yeah, I forgot. It's like 4 more screws to get this piece off. Then we can begin the process of getting the wire out, and then we can finally start reshelling it. Why can't I just be normal? Why can't I just be happy with a black controller, a black TV? Like, the never-ending pursuit of perfection that's gonna keep me up all night by the looks of it. Anyway, let's crack on. Okay, it's safe to say that I'm already regretting this. I am not gonna film the actual process of doing it. Yeah, I've got enough stress trying to do it without messing it up. without worrying about cameras and stuff. So yeah, next time you see me, my face should give it away as to how it's gone. Right, I've painstakingly sat here, switched it all over. All good. I'm about to put it back on the kiosk. This took a lot longer than I care to admit. Can you see a problem? Can you see a problem? Black triggers! Triggered myself. What is life? Is it in? Yes. Does it work? Yes. Does it look much better than before? Yes. Was it worth it? You might have to ask me next week. From me cleaning the controller, to realising it don't work, to then deciding to reshell, to finding the tools, to putting them back together, to not having the right triggers on, to doing the trigger switch, which by the way was the most complicated bit of all of this, to then putting it all back together again, testing it. I'm almost embarrassed to say, best part of 4 hours. Now I don't have 4 hours, but I'm the sort of person, once I start something, I'm getting it done. There's no way I was finishing this vlog without having a white controller on that unit, and it looks loads better. When you sort of think how that'll look when both of them are white, again, just adding that bit of freshness. There are, out in the world, these pieces in like a light grey. But I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath on finding those. It's very, very few and far between. I think it's the early model. I think Kev's might have that. So that would lend itself even more. If anybody knows of any of these in light grey, give me a shout, but I'm not holding my breath. You see so many of these 360 kiosks with the arms missing entirely. You could probably sell 2 controller arms for this kiosk for hundreds of pounds. So the chances of me finding a light grey one for a decent price, yeah, slim to none, but I'm happy with the black grips. And yeah, we are one white controller away from the kiosk being done. Right, the postman came hours ago. The plan was, as a reward for putting the new controller on, I was going to see what parcels I've got, sit down, open it, but I'm wiped out. It is late. I want to have a cup of tea, sit down, do something non-gaming related, unwind a bit, and then, yeah, tomorrow's a new day. We're going to get in here, see what the postman's bought, and yeah, I'll check in with you then. Retro Ghetto. Good morning. It is bright and early, and first things first, I owe you guys an apology. So I may have lied last night. I said I was going to go and do some non-game related stuff to get over the rigmarole of fitting the new controller. Well, that didn't quite happen. I jumped onto Assassin's Creed. I did 2 more trophies. So there was a couple of trophies that, whilst intertwined with the end of the story, were doable. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything, which leaves just 2 for the platinum. So literally I've just got to finish the story now, and yeah, I couldn't be any closer. I really couldn't. So that's going to be saved for next week's vlog. But something that I did tell the truth about was the fact that we got a couple of parcels yesterday. So let's jump into these. Okay, let's get into these then, shall we? So there was 2 parcels here. I know who they're both from, but that one, I don't know what it is. I'm very intrigued by it, but we'll get to that in a minute. This one has come from my friend Grant. Both of these have come from the Discord, unsurprisingly. I think at this point, the majority of my pickups come from the Discord. Everything's just done at such great prices. So there is a note in here. Hi Callum, hope all is well with you and your family. Here is a copy of Bloodborne. I've just told you what it is. It's a copy of Bloodborne. Grant being Grant, it looks like there's more in here. So, yeah. So, but you can't guess what it is. It's Bloodborne. It's actually the Game of the Year edition. The reason that I wanted to grab this off Grant was for my Only on PlayStation sleeves. I'm slowly filling my Only on PlayStation sleeves with the applicable games. This isn't actually the game that's supposed to go in it. It's supposed to be the PlayStation Hits version of Bloodborne, which I already own, of course, amongst the PlayStation Hits set.
So yeah, I didn't mind having this one. At least it's a slight variant. The Game of the Year edition. It's probably the one to play, right? So whilst it might not have been technically the one that goes in it, I'm happy enough to put this in it. I mean, how many copies of standard Bloodborne do I need? I mean, how many copies of Bloodborne do I need? I need to step my game up and actually play some of these From Software games, right? But yeah, so that's going to be for that. The rest of this stuff, Brad being Brad, he's just thrown it in. So we've got a Bloodborne art book here. So this was part of the bigger box collector's edition, I believe. And what is this at the bottom here? Oh, nice. He did allude to in the note that there was some metal and cardboard in here that he'd thrown in. This is something that I've actually looked at picking up a few times, and I've seen it in CEX. And that is Tales of Symphonia. Yeah, it comes in this really nice cardboard sleeve, and to my knowledge, it's got like a nice steelbook in here. I think it's got like a lion's face on it. Yes, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful steelbook. So, really appreciate that, Grant. As I say, this is one that I've been looking at. Tales of Symphonia. Let me know in the comments, man. Do you think this is one that I could play? I hear good things about it, but I don't know. Comes with sticker sheets, postcards, all that good stuff. So, very kind of you, Grant, for the additional extras in there, my friend. And that takes me to this one. So, this has come from Dylan, aka Hyper Trigger X. Make sure you go and check out his channel. It's been a long time since he's posted a video, but he showed me some behind the scenes look of his games room that he's building, and it looks like it's going to be phenomenal. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. So hopefully we'll be seeing the completed room in the non too distant future. But he reached out to me and said, I want to send you this. I think his exact term was something like, you need to get out of the gaming shackles that you're in or something, and that slightly worries me because Dylan buys a lot of Japanese games, and I always tell him I don't collect Japanese games, so I feel like I don't want to have to I don't want to have to be fake grateful for if he sent me Japanese games. Right, we've got a note, so let's just see what it is. Like I say, he sent me this a while ago, so it's been much intriguing me. Dear Callum, let's remove the gaming straitjacket you've placed yourself in. That was probably the statement that he used. On these carts, you will find only the finest shooters from the 16-bit era. They're Japanese carts. Hope you enjoy them. All the best, Dylan. P.S. There's a SNES game. Be cool to see you play. Right. Let's see what we got here. So we have 2 pieces of cardboard. So I'm assuming these are SNES carts. Oh! Hello! That's not what I was expecting. This is a nice surprise. Right, so we have in here Super Cartridge and Mega Evercade. So I'm going to assume that these are just like ROMs. I don't know much about this kind of stuff. Emulation is really outside of my realm of knowledge when it comes to video games. So yeah, I don't know if Dylan would have had to preload this with Super Nintendo games and Mega Drive games, or if these come with all the games on. I guess there's only really one way to find out. Let's go and take a look. Alright, so I did message Dylan quickly to thank him for this. And I asked him about it briefly, and he said that I think this came empty, and he's loaded on here a lot of the shmups, and a lot of the shmups that we didn't get in PAL territories. Dylan's an expert on shmups, he's big into his Japanese releases, so if anybody's going to do this for me, I'm glad it was him. Alright, let's have a quick look at this then, shall we? So I don't believe this ever got PAL release. I like music. Look at the smile on my face. Oh, Gradius 3. I've got to give a huge shout out to Dylan for this. He knows me well. He said to me when I was messaging him, he didn't want to fill the game with ROMs. Because he knows I'm going for a full set. I collect games, right? I don't want to have access to all of these games that I'm going to be spending a lot of money on to add them physically. It takes away from it a little bit if you've already got that ownership or you've already played it. So he said, look, he's basically just put shmups on here and he's put games on here that
as I say, weren't available in Power Territory, so there's no danger of me buying them or anything. So, yeah, massive shout out to Dylan, man. I couldn't have asked for much more. But there is one thing that I want to check before I dedicate myself to Gradius 3. Hold on. Right, so I've now inserted the Mega Drive equivalent. Where are we? Musha. Now, I've been wanting to play Musha for a long time. I did have it on the emulation device, but I don't know, something about sitting there playing it handheld doesn't really hit home as well. Musha, if you don't know, is a ridiculously expensive game. So I think it's Musha Aleste to give it its full title. This, in America, is like, I think, $1,000 game to get this game complete. Listen to that music. Oh my gosh. Again, we're going to make it easy. I'm sure easy mode is still far from easy. Let me give you guys a quick look at Musha, and you can decide for yourselves as to whether it's worth $800 or $1,000 or whatever it is. Right, let's go. Similar to a couple of the PlayStation 2 games that I bought recently, Samurai Aces and others, it's like Japanese themed, but again, like futuristic Japanese themed. So sort of like cyberpunk meets sort of like Edo era ancient Japan. Yeah, which always makes for a great crossover in my opinion. So this is definitely a game I'm going to be putting some time into. For sure. Absolutely love it. Listen to that music. Oh, this is so good. Right, I've had to pull myself away from Musha to end this week's Ghetto vlog. If you're not already subscribed, you enjoy the content, please consider doing so. If you're watching this on the Sunday it goes live, there's a chance I'll be at my favourite event in the whole retro collecting calendar, the NEC Toy Fair. I just love that place. You never know what you're going to come home with. I might come home with retro video games, some toys I didn't know existed, standees, merchandise. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. There could be anything and everything at this event, and I always enjoy it, so all that coverage will be coming very soon. If, of course, you want to get involved with the Ghetto Gang, whether that be the Discord, whether that be the Ghetto Gang game room tours that we do on here, there'll be a link below for that as well. But yeah, what can I say other than once again, thank you for taking the time to watch. It's been much appreciated. There won't be any post-credit gameplay this week. I think we've seen quite a lot of gameplay already, and yeah, I'm going to sit down, I think, and try and get the platinum. Try and become one of the 4% of people on planet Earth that have platinumed Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So yeah, hopefully next time you see me, I'll be celebrating that fact. But as always, play your games, keep it retro. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. It's always much appreciated. Take care. Nice, isn't it?
PS2 cardboard.
PS2 cardboard, mate.
Looks like it's missing a slip.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I think it should have a slip.
It's probably got one of them, the other cardboard.
Yeah, like
You like cardboard, don't you?
I do like cardboard, mate. I've got that one though.
You got it?
Yeah, I've already got that one, mate. Thank you.
No.
This is one that I was
He's been saying all morning when Retro Ghetto comes up,
I'm
show
gonna show
him this
him
car.
this
All right, I see. No wonder I spent so much money. Everyone's conspiring against me.
Lock into the retro ghetto. Come and have a look around the ghetto. We got Sonic and Staples settle. Lock into the retro ghetto.